Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth, and on this channel we work on building your spiritual confidence so you can listen to your intuition and read your tarot cards with ease. And today, if you are looking to connect with the Two of Wands, you've come to the right place, because we are going to be talking about the numerology, the astrology, the Kabbalah, the elements. We're going to talk about the in-depth symbolism that explains exactly what this card means. You are going to look at the Two of Wands in a way that you've never looked at it before. In fact, it certainly did blow my mind when I started delving deep into the symbolism of this card. So let's spin the camera around and have a look at the Two of Wands. So let's have a look at the Two of Wands. Now, before I start, I have some fabulous cheat sheets that are in my Etsy shop, and I'll make sure the link to these are down in the description box for you, which is just that little box that you can pop open underneath the video. And these are my notes that I refer to, that I have made, that help me understand the cards. And I've got my detailed notes, of course. These are ones I've made for the video. I've got my famous cheat sheet, and of course there is also a worksheet, and this helps you make sense of the symbolism of the card and turn it into a meaning that you can use when you're reading the cards. So let's have a look at the Two of Wands. And of course, don't forget, if you like my work, if you find it helpful, it would be so good if you could like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell. It is so helpful for the channel, and it certainly lets YouTube know the sorts of things that people enjoy, and it helps to promote my video. So don't forget to click those buttons. So let's talk about the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is Minor Arcana card, and it is very closely related to the Two of Cups. I'm just going to move these sheets over here. The sheets, incidentally, are available in my Etsy shop, and I know that many of you have purchased them already. So we've got Two of Wands, we've got Two of Cups, Two of Swords, and Two of Pentacles. Now, I'm mainly going to talk about Two of Wands today. I am including these cards because it's really hard to talk about the Two of Wands in isolation from a numerology perspective. Because if we think about the numerology of the cards, and this is what really informs learning the minor arcana, because the cards all relate together. In fact, if you look at the major arcana cards as well, that signify two. So we've got 2, High Priestess. We've got 11, Justice. 1 + 1 makes 2. And we've got Judgment, which is 20. 2 + 0 makes 2. So these 3 cards are also an interpretation of 2. So what's 2 in numerology? 2 in numerology is balance of opposites, and I've already done videos on these 3 cards, so I'll put a link to those in the description box so that you can go and watch those videos as well. And I talk a lot about the meaning of the numerology of 2 for those cards. But briefly, we're looking at, again, feminine, masculine energy. So this idea of balancing the energies that you are accessing out there in the world and developing within yourself in terms of your intuitive power. So that's your High Priestess, and I've talked about her a lot already, so I'm not going to do any more on her other than to give you some perspective. Justice, the balance of the scales, the balance of good and evil. So again, balance of opposites. Judgment, again, heeding the call in your life. What's going on in your life that you are being called to take action on to bring, and why do we take action? To bring our life back into spiritual balance. That's what we're always aiming to. We're aiming to counterbalance things that maybe we're not happy about in our lives and things that we are happy about in our lives, and taking appropriate and timely action. And you can see here the angel is calling basically the corpses to stand up out of the graves and take action for all the things that they didn't do in their lives. So that's judgment. So again, balance of two. If we look here at the Two of Wands, we're setting goals, and the Wands are talking about this idea of the balance of the choices you make in your life, the choices that are conscious and the choices that are unconscious when you're making goals, setting goals and weighing up the things that you want to take action on in your life, whether it's, out in front of you, things that you're aware of that are in front of you that you can see, or things that you are not aware of. The Two Cups, and I'm just going to briefly give you a little rundown here. The Two Cups here, the balance of a relationship, which of course cups are relationships. Swords are about thinking. They're about making conscious choices, and they're a card of air, so it's about how you articulate those choices. And again, you see here, the blindfolds on. Follow your intuition, and which path will you take? And the Pentacles, you've got so many choices going on in your life and so much going on that you're overwhelmed and you're struggling to make sense of the choices that you need to make. So that's Two of Pentacles. So you can see that the cards all link in, and I will do a separate video on each one, because even though some of them have got, not a lot on the card, I still think that they deserve having a video to talk about the meaning in each one of the cards. So here you're looking at the Two of Wands. Now, timing, we're looking at Mars in Aries, the first decan of Mars in Aries. And if I show you my little cheat sheet here, we're looking at Aries, which is down here just under the midline. And if you look here, you can see Two of Wands. You can also see the 3 and the 4. And of course, the first card is sitting in the first decan. What are decans? Decans are segments that, and they sit at 30 degrees around the wheel of life, or around the astrology wheel, and they're an arbitrary measure that's put in place by astrologers so that when they're talking about a particular astrological sign, they can actually divide it up. So they know if you're in the first, the planet is placed in the first decan, the second decan, or the third decan, if they're doing a natal chart, for example. So that's what that's about. So having each one of these cards allocated to a decan, if I was to sort of go into Aries in a lot more detail, I could probably tell you even more about the meaning of each card. Have I done that? No, I haven't. And I actually haven't seen any books that have done that. So maybe I need to start looking at that. That'd be an interesting book, wouldn't it? Looking at each decan in each one of the astrological signs and looking at the minor arcana that are placed within those decans and how they express each one. Because I can tell you for sure and certain, there will be a connection. There will most sure and certainly be a connection. So if you want to know where this sheet is, it's in my astrology cheat sheets. And if Prince Charming is weaving his magic, he'll have a link up in the top right-hand corner for you. If not, I will make sure, if he's not been able to do it, I will make sure that it is down in the description box for you. So you can go and watch the video and find those cheat sheets if you would like my astrology wheel. And rest assured, that's another idea for a book whizzing around in my head. And that would be fabulous, I reckon, to delve into the astrology that deeply that you can understand the layers of the decans and then how the cards fit in. Would be pretty cool. So we're looking at Aries. The dates, March 21 to March 30, so the first decan. So if you're reading and this card falls into a spot on your spread that's to do with timing, that's where you can get a sense of timing. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. I went to Tarot Guild and I saw a lady that did a whole talk on tarot timing. It was fascinating. And we actually did some readings for each other based on tarot timing. And we worked out that actually it didn't really work. It really didn't work. So we were a little bit perplexed by looking at the really specific timing. It's a really nice thing to do. And when you talk about it on an intellectual level, it just sounds so amazing that all the cards, especially when you see them laid out in that sheet I just showed you, the way the cards all fit together, you just think, wow. But in practice, it just really didn't work. If you use the traditional timing, we're talking about this card being a card of Aries, which of course, the traditional timing is spring. If you're looking at Northern Hemisphere, you're looking at April, which is sort of autumn heading into winter. So again, it depends what hemisphere of the world you're reading in. For this particular exercise of doing the symbolism, are tending to quote Northern Hemisphere, mainly because Arthur Waite was in the Northern Hemisphere and that was what he intended. But with a lot of my books and things, I do put both hemispheres and give you options of different dates for things and different interpretations. Okay, so that is the timing. The Kabbalah or the Tree of Life is Chokmah, which is wisdom. And if we look at this card, you're setting goals. You're thinking about your life and what you want for yourself. And again, you're holding the world in your hands. And you can interpret that in many ways. I mean, if you think about it in terms of the king holds the orb and the scepter. And the symbolism of that is the orb he is holding the world in his hands. He has the power to change the world. And so this is a really inspirational card in that it's saying to you, when you set your goals and you have that balance of both conscious and unconscious, as you're setting those goals and thinking about the things that are obvious and maybe less obvious, you have this opportunity to really make changes that will impact you, at a local level and onwards into a global level. So Chokmah is wisdom. It's about our Father, God, the universal energy that's out there. And again, I'm trying to give a really a secular description of this because I'm not a Kabbalistic expert. I'm not a Jewish expert. I'm just trying to give you a sense of these allocations in terms of understanding the card. So it's God or the universal energy, creative, positive energy, and it's masculine energy. So it's the energy of doing is Chokmah. It's the energy of taking action. And we saw that in the other cards as well. And as we come through the deck, I'll return and I'll talk to you about that interpretation with each one of the cards. But in this card in particular, it is masculine energy because we know that wands are about taking action. And if you look at these wands, again, they've got little green leaves. So these are not dead bits of wood. These are active wands ready to get going and take action. So it's about new ideas. It's about your goals, what you want, seeing the bigger picture, taking time to reflect on how far you've come, where you've been, what you've achieved, what's yet to achieve. So looking at these wands in terms of the significance of the placement is really important. So again, Mars in Aries, beginnings, energy, stubbornness, what's holding you back from taking the action that you need to take? And of course, classical element of fire, strength of activity, blood, life force. What are your goals? What are you wanting to achieve? Let's have a look at the other symbolism on the card, because there's an awful lot. I've talked about the wands. So the figure standing between the wands. So this represents you and the conflicts that you have with how you are in the world. The things that are obvious to you and the things that are not quite so obvious to you. And you're standing looking out. So you're looking out and you're contemplating what is out there in the world for you to go on and achieve. However, you're looking out at grey sky. So don't forget that grey has a very universal meaning, often in the tarot, particularly if it's sky or clouds, of confusion. So you're looking out and you're thinking, what's next for me? And how do I make that happen? And how do I understand it? Both what's seen and what's unseen, so that I can take the world in my hands and make a positive change. I've talked about the world in your hands. The choice is yours. Take your time. Look at all options. Make a wise choice. The battlements. Now, this is interesting. You're standing behind, or he's standing behind the battlements. And that's about looking at the world from a safe vantage point. He's in the castle. He's on the battlements. He's not down with the villagers down here who are going to be the first hit when the orcs come running through to attack Helm's Deep. He's standing on the battlements, so he's in a safe place. The mountains symbolize looking at your life journey, and the water represents the collective consciousness, not just of you going on your spiritual journey, because in the tarot, mountains, particularly if they're snow-capped mountains, tend to suggest spiritual journey, but also that there is a collective consciousness of the whole world being on a journey. Now, the lily and the rose cross here is really significant because it links back to W. Yeats's poetry. Now, W. Yeats was a member of, or William Yeats was a member of the Golden Dawn. And when you all do my Tarot with Beginners, Tarot for Beginners course, which is going to be launched very soon, I will be talking to you a little bit about William Yeats as one of the important people that are part of the tarot. So that's all coming. But a lot of William Yeats's poetry really influenced the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. And the lilies represents innocence and grief, and the red rose, the passion, power, and happiness. So there's this duality of grief and passion and action and energy that goes with, grief and stillness, passion, energy, and action that go with every single decision that we make. So this idea of innocence and experience, blood and purity, all of those juxtapositions sit in this card. If you're looking at the cape, it's a red cape and a red hat. So this idea of red on the head, red over the back, again, it's about the passion to take action. And I think that's it. I think I've spoken about everything. This card is called the Lord of Dominion. So this is about, taking control of your life, being in the driver's seat, and recognizing the balance between the two poles, the consciousness and the unconsciousness. So that's it from me. If you've made it to the end of the video, well done. I have got cheat sheets in my Etsy shop, both these ones, which everybody seems to really adore, that are lovely and basic and take you into the basic understanding of the card. Then I've got these worksheets as well, which you can buy separately or together, depending on what bundle you want. And then of course, the best value bundle is the 3 together, where you get the the cheat sheets, the worksheet, and also my notes that I have created that that I use for the videos. And there's a whole set of these for every single card. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like my work, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.